In this video, I'm going to show you 5 exercises to improve the strength of the core, specifically for women, just because the center of mass or the core is just a tiny bit different than on a man. Both men and women, when we talk about the core, it's anything between like the coccyx bone and the C7 vertebrae. So anything in between, it's part of the core. The back, the abs, the side, up here, right? And so on a woman, it's a little bit at the core, the action, it's gonna be powered up more at the hip level than in the middle here. And men is a little bit more here, but women, it's really in the hip, because we have different hip structure for that. Let's say our hip are wider than a man to give birth. This creates different angle, and so bottom line, at the core, when we're doing a movement, we want to start strength or power. It start where? At the hip level. So these 5 exercises are part of a small light routine you can do at least 2-3 times a week, and you can scale up or down the level of difficulty wherever you are in your fitness. First exercise is the walking lunge. First of all, a walking lunge looks like this. Big step forward. I'm getting to 90 degrees here and there. Stand back up, move forward. So I'm walking forward. If I don't have the room to do walking lunges, I can still do lunges, either reverse, come back at my center, or forward. If your knees are a bit fragile, I would suggest to go backward. Beside that, choose which one you want, but quick tips for the lunges. As we're going to be always standing on either one leg or the other, you want to pay attention to what's going on in your hip, so you don't want to fall, right, as you're taking that step forward. So you can put your hands on your hip just to pay attention to that. You don't want to shift in your hip. And so I'm making work my glute and that hip muscle area. And you want to be taking a big step, as I said, to get to that 90 degree in the front, 90 degree at my knees in the back. And wide enough so you're stable. We don't want to go a step in front of the other. So think of a train track, right? Be wide and so you can be stable. Another tip is I want to make sure my foot, so my toes are slightly pointing inward as my knee is slightly pointing outward. This is stable. If someone would push me, I wouldn't fall. I'm stable. Whereas if my toes are like looking forward or even out and the knee go in, right away I'm unstable. All right, so toes slightly in, knees slightly out. This is gonna stop me of falling. I'm stable. So think about that every time you're making a step. Those are the walking lunges. Second movement, second exercise is the toe raise. Still standing on one leg only. You can put your hand on your hip to feel that, because again, you don't want to drop. If you're dropping, I'm not engaging my glutes, and glutes are part of the hip muscle complex. And I'm gonna raise up to my toes while not shifting my hips. Both movement, the walking lunge and the toe raise, if you at some point you're becoming super good, you can add some dumbbells in your hands both ways, so you can add the difficulty when you're going to be at that level. All right? And so pay attention again, we don't want this to shift. Third movement is the bridge with alternated hip flexion. So I'm gonna get into a bridge position. Bring your heels close to you. Get into that bridge position. So squeeze your butt as much as possible. You have a flat plank here. And then from here, I will do a hip flexion. So basically I'm lifting a foot. So I'm doing a flexion at the hip. And you alternate these. And the goal is again to not have your hip drop as you're raising. So you're really working just that one to stabilize everything. All right? So first level is to do them alternated. If you want more challenge, do one side only. Let's say you're 15 reps, one side only. So you're working the other one the whole time, and then you switch side. So that's the hip bridge with alternated hip flexion. Fourth exercise is the plank with knee dips. I'm gonna go in a plank position on my hand, hands under my shoulders, squeezing my butt, my abs, and I'm gonna again not move my hips and just drop a knee on the ground, touch it and back. So you can alternate them, and what we don't want again is shifting my hips. So I'm controlling it, nothing moves. And then for the next level, you would do only one side. Let's say you're 15 reps on one side, and then the other side 15 reps. To add also another level of difficulty would be to do it on your elbows, so you have a little bit more tension in your core. Now the floor is gonna hit the floor pretty fast, but pay attention to not moving your hips. Finally, the fifth movement would be the side plank. On your elbow, same thing, elbow under my shoulder. For the level of difficulty, I can start on my knees. All I want is a straight line. Then I can go longer with feet side by side, more stable. I want to add difficulty, I can go 2 feet together. And another level of difficulty would be to make a trunk rotation. So putting my hand on the side with my elbow pointing to the ceiling, I'm gonna rotate at my trunk level to go and check on the floor. So my arm is not moving, I'm moving my trunk. So that would be the final level of difficulty you could add. There you go, women, have fun. Remember, your core is mainly here, all right?